Nice ride.
Oh, thank you. Is that chassis a rocket body?
Yeah, a cardboard tube from a rocket, yeah.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. What about you?
Oh, this chassis, this thing is a Gatorade bottle.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So,
What kind of propulsion you got on that?
yeah, it's a propeller propulsion. Yeah,
Oh,
the
nice.
propeller pushes it along. You?
Mine's direct drive.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should probably explain to them what we're talking about.
Oh yeah, we probably should do that.
Yeah.
I'll take care of it.
Okay.
When you start building your vehicle, the first thing that you need to consider is called a chassis. The material of the chassis should fill two requirements. It should both be lightweight and it should be rigid. So lightweight materials include things that are made of styrofoam, for instance. Rigid means that it does not easily bend and change its shape. So for example, you apply pressure to the styrofoam, it does not easily bend and warp. This could be packaging materials, this could be takeout container trays, and this could also be like a styrofoam meat tray. Another possible material is those plastic takeout containers. These are lightweight and fairly rigid. Also, cardboard is another possibility. Cardboard tends to be on the heavier side. Just be careful about the type of cardboard you select and how much you choose to use. One thing you need to think about is you don't want to exceed weight limits because it'll be very difficult for your car to build inertia and start moving. So we don't generally recommend using wood because wood tends to be a little bit heavier to get to move. It's not out of the question, but we don't usually see a ton of success with wooden cars. Another thing that you might want to steer clear from are things that are, don't have a lot of rigidity to it. So for example, this is technically cardboard. This is, it's cardstock, but it clearly isn't rigid. It bends and warps. And so you can't really build a chassis that is really strong and able to bear the load of all the parts of the car using this cardstock. Another part of the car for you to consider is your wheels. The wheel is a circular object that revolves around an axle and allows the vehicle to move across the ground. So some very successful wheels that we've seen in the past include CDs because they're very smooth, although they have a little bit more weight compared to some of the other wheels, so it requires more inertia to get them rolling. But also that means that it takes more to get them to stop. So once you get them moving, they tend to keep on moving, which is a nice advantage. Also, we have seen yogurt containers and food container lids work as excellent wheels because they are fairly strong and they are circular. Bottle caps also make good wheels as well. Another possibility would be like petri dishes. Again, another rigid material, and this is also circular. Another part of your car to consider is known as an axle. An axle is a rod that essentially rotates the vehicle's wheels. So this has to be attached to the vehicle's wheels. So let's say you have a CD wheel, you would attach an axle to it to allow it to rotate. Good materials for an axle include bamboo skewers or also coat hanger. Coat hanger is smoother than wood, but it tends to be a little heavier, so you have to make some engineering choices about how you want to do this. We are able to cut the coat hanger for you at school using special tools. Another part of the vehicle that you need to consider is called the bushing. The bushing is a tube-like part of the vehicle that allows the axles to freely rotate, and it isolates it from bumps along the road. So we generally would recommend straws for the bushings of your vehicle. They're inexpensive and tend to be very smooth. We've also seen pen barrels used for this as well. So essentially you would be weaving your axle through your bushing, and then it allows the axle and the wheel to freely rotate. Another issue that we've seen in the past is students sometimes have a mismatch between the ratio of the bushing and the axle. So for example, if a student has a small bushing but then a really thick axle going through that bushing, even though it might fit, it basically fills up the entire bushing, which creates a lot of friction and it's difficult to get the car to start rolling. So there's two ways that you can solve that. Either you can get a larger bushing, like a wider straw, like this, and now you have a better ratio and it spins more freely, or alternatively, you could keep the same bushing and then put in a thinner axle like coat wire hanger or a thinner bamboo skewer. One of the other things that you probably have to consider about your car is called the propulsion system. There are two types of propulsion systems that you can pick from. One is propeller based and one is direct drive. Propulsion is a part of the vehicle that produces thrust in order to propel the vehicle to move forward and drive. This is my propeller-based car. It's Baby Yoda, and he's reaching out and using the force to make the propeller spin so he can go forward. But also we can help him out by winding it up for him. It's not required for you to have your propeller be detachable, but I have one Dixie cup and another Dixie cup because I think it's just easier to wind up when it's not part of the vehicle. When you wind your propeller, you want to be winding it up clockwise in order for the car to go forward. And I think that one of the biggest troubleshooting issues with propeller cars is students say that it's not going to go even though I wound it up. And we find that they often don't wind up the car enough. So a student might only wind it up this much and they're like, I don't understand why it's not going very far. You actually have to wind it up a lot more than that. Let me show you. This is more what we're talking about. Can you see how the rubber band is beginning to fold over on itself as I wind it up? That's actually a good thing because that will give a lot of thrust in order for your car to start moving after you let go of the propeller. My direct drive car is my Toyota Supra from Fast and Furious with Paul Walker driving. In order to get Paul Walker moving so he can live life a quarter mile at a time, I am going to take my rubber band and I'm going to wrap it around the exposed axle. It is really important to make sure that you have the ability to access the axle of your car in order to wrap the rubber band around the axle, as you can see right here. If you have your straw covering this part of your axle, you aren't able to do a direct drive.
We should probably explain to them how to put these parts together into a car.
You want to take care of that?
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, maybe in another video.
Yeah, makes sense. This video is kind of long.